Welcome to Namaste React. This is the first episode of this series, which is the inception. You know, React is the most popular JavaScript library to build large-scale front-end application today in this world. Okay, React has proved its strength and it has become so popular, and it is in these coming years, right? React right now is the most popular, most loved JavaScript library, and I personally really love React. React has played a really important role in my career, and I have been coding in React since 6 years now. Okay. In this web series, I will be covering all the topics about whatever I have learned so far in the industry, all the experience, all the knowledge I have wrapped up into this series of Namaste React, and I will be bringing it out to you in forms of beautiful these web series and this episode. I will be doing all of the practical things to showcase you how those concepts, React concepts, are being actually applied in the industry into the real world projects. Are you ready for this new amazing web series, and are you ready to fall in love with React? Because the mission of this series is to make you fall in love with React, and I bet that even just after a few episodes you will be in love with React. Trust me, React is so beautiful as a library in itself, and you would love that how easily you can develop these large-scale front-end application using this beautiful library out there. In this journey of Namaste React, we will go from zero to hero. That means I'll be starting everything right from scratch, and I will be taking you to build large-scale production-ready applications which are optimized. We will see how code works behind the scenes inside React. Okay, we will learn about how React actually is very fast, right? Everybody says that React is fast, but why React is fast? We are going to learn that in this series. We are going to see actually that how when the browser, in the browser, how that React code is transformed and read by browser, right? Everything we will be covering in this series. I will not just be talking everything using boring slides and theory. No. I am not that kind of teacher. I will be using practical coding examples right from the first episode. That means right from this episodes, we will be diving deep into the code. I love to dive deep into the technical concepts. I would be diving deep, and I will be explaining you everything, and definitely you will fall in love with React. Trust me. First of all, let me give you some tips so that you can make the best out of this course. Okay, are you ready? So first thing is, you have to make your own notes. Okay, this is a really important thing. Before I start the series, before I start coding, before I start teaching anything, I want to give you some tips. The first thing is, make your own notes. Keep a paper and pen ready. Not even a paper, you would need a notebook, okay? Keep a notebook and your pen ready, and take down all the notes of all the important concepts that I teach. Okay, this is, you have to do it personally. Second thing is, use your laptop. Okay, while you are watching these videos, please use your laptop. And when you will use your laptop, after every now and then, okay, pause the videos and try to code exactly what am I coding. Because just watching these videos will not going to affect anything to you. Okay, the only effect, the only results you will get is after when you learn from here and then apply that knowledge on your own in your laptops. Okay, so watch this video series on your desktop or your laptop and code along with me. And the third and the very important thing is that you have to maintain your own GitHub repository. Okay, I will be doing all these coding, and I will be giving you a lot of assignments, a lot of homeworks, a lot of quizzes, assignment, puzzles, coding questions, theory questions. Lot of assignment will be there. Okay, so you have to keep finishing that assignment. Okay, and push it down to some blogs or to your GitHub. GitHub is a good place, right, for our developers that will make a beautiful graph also. So create a Namaste React repository on your GitHub and keep putting up all your assignment, all your theory, coding assignments, everything there on your GitHub repositories. It will be good for showcasing also, and it will be helpful for you when you are going to revise it later. Okay, so make your own notes. Second thing is, watch this series using a laptop or a desktop. And the third thing is that maintain your GitHub repository and keep logging down whatever you are learning along with me. Are you ready for this journey? I am super excited. So let us just begin this journey by diving deep into the code. And now let us just begin learning Namaste React. So let's just begin. To begin with, let me first of all tell you that in this whole web series, I would be using Google Chrome. Okay, Google Chrome web browser. I just love Google Chrome, and I just love its developer console. So we will be diving into the developer console also. So people who don't know about developer console, right click, go to inspect. This is the developer console. We will be seeing a lot of things inside developer console. So I would be using Google Chrome. So I would suggest you to use Google Chrome in your laptops as well, so that we are on the same page. Got it? And the second thing I wanted to tell you, I would be using VS Code, the code editor. So if you don't have Google Chrome or VS Code, please install it. It will be very helpful for you as we go ahead in this series. Okay, so as I said, we will be starting right from the scratch, right from zero. Let us just now start, right from scratch. I am creating a new folder, a new repository. Okay, so let me name it Namaste React. Okay, so I have named this repository Namaste React, a new folder. And now I'm going to open this folder in my VS Code. Okay, so I am dragging it down and I have dropped it over VS Code, and here I am, right? The VS Code Namaste React is open over here. This is an empty folder. We are starting right from zero, right from scratch. This is the Inception episode number 01. Are you ready to code along with me? Let us just dive deep in. Okay, first of all, I would not directly be starting with React. I would be giving you a small recap of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Got it? Okay, so what we are going to do is, let us just first create a very basic, we have a lot of time to learn React. Okay, first of all, let us just see that how we can create a basic hello world program inside HTML. Okay, what I'm going to make is a plain HTML page and just hello world written on it. How do we do that? Let us just see. Using plain HTML. How do I do? Okay, it's easy, right? Most of you must be knowing it, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript was the prerequisite for this course, isn't it? So you would be knowing the basics of it. So let's create our own, first of all, index.html file. Okay, the first step, index.html file I have created. Now, what am I going to do? Okay, note down the first thing. If you don't know, VS Code uses something known as Emmet. Okay, something known as Emmet, E-M-M-E-T. What is this? It basically generates some code for you inside VS Code. That's why I love VS Code, right? It does a lot of cool things behind the scenes. As we move ahead in this series, you would understand that VS Code is also very powerful. Okay, for it gives us the smooth developer experience. It is one of the best code editors if you are doing front-end development, right? So we are creating our own HTML file. Let me tell you, if you write HTML and you write :5, right? :5, exactly this. What will happen as soon as I will hit enter, it will give you the basic skeleton of HTML. Okay, so this is the basic HTML skeleton. Nothing to worry about. Not teaching you something new, basic hello world program inside HTML. Okay, so in this is the basic HTML, right? We have a head tag, we have body tag, right, over here. Now the title, let us just give the title as Namaste React. Got it? Let's give the title as Namaste React, and in this body, let's just create a basic page where we have a heading with hello world. Got it? So let's just create it. First of all, let me create a div, right? Kind of like a container. Okay, let's give it an ID container. Okay, let's give it an ID container, or let's give it root, right? Root container or something. And in this root, right? In this root, I'm creating a heading. How do you create a heading? Let's create a h1 tag, right? Heading, and then let's write hello world, the first ever program, right? That we write in any language we learn, right? So first hello world using the plain HTML. If I save this file and let me just see how the web page looks. Okay, shall we see? Will this work or not? Can you guess? Yes, let us just see, right? So let's go to Namaste React. There is my index.html. Double click on it. Oh my God, we see a blank page with a hello world on the top. This is the basic program, right? HTML code for writing a hello world on a web page. Isn't it? If we go to this developer console, if we go to elements, we see exactly same HTML that we write over here is inside our browser. Isn't it? This is what we were expecting. Now, let me just increase it a little font. Good, right? So now what we will do is, now we will try to create the same hello world program, right? A page with hello world, but this time we are not going to use our plain HTML. No. We are not going to use the heading like this. But what we are going to do is we will be using JavaScript to build this. Okay. So right now what we did earlier was we used HTML. Now we will use JavaScript to build this. Okay. How do we use JavaScript to build this? So basically what we need to do, we basically need to put in this heading and we will be injecting this heading using JavaScript into this root. Got it? Let's just learn first, right? How do we write JavaScript in our page? We can just use a script tag, isn't it? Let's just use a script tag. Whatever you write inside it is the JavaScript which the browser runs, isn't it? So let us just write some script. How do I first of all create that heading? How do I create a h1 tag inside JavaScript? How do I do that? Yes, you are absolutely right. We will be using something known as document.createElement. Yes. So this is the API that we use to create h1 tag. Inside it, I will write h1. That means we are creating a h1 tag. Okay. And let's get this tag inside a normal variable. Let's call it as constant heading. Okay, let's call this as const heading, and in this we have a h1 tag inside it. Now let us put hello world inside this heading. How do we do that? Easy, right? We will just do heading.innerHTML is equals to hello world. Got it? So we have hello world inside our heading.innerHTML, and let's write it hello world from JavaScript. Okay, let's just, because we are putting it inside from JavaScript, right? You can write any text. So we have written this. Now we have a heading. Now what I have to do is I have created this h1 tag using JavaScript. Now I have to put this heading inside my root. How do I do that? Using JavaScript. So first of all, I will find where is my root. So my root is equal to document.getElementById. I know you must be knowing all this basic stuff, but yes, let me just recap it for people who don't know it, right? So if we will do document.getElementById and I will pass in root over here. So what will happen is we got the root, and now we have to put in this heading inside our root, right? This root basically will get the reference to this div tag, right? So in this div tag, I have to put this heading inside this div. How would you do that? There is a function inside JavaScript which is known as append child, isn't it? So what I'll do is I will do root.append child. Okay, so it is basically, append child is a method which is there on every HTML node, right? So I can do a append child and I will write heading over here. So what will happen is this heading will go as a child inside this root. And what is my root? This div is the root. Now my heading, which is the h1 tag, will go as a child inside this root. Okay, so let's save this file, go back to our page, refresh the page, and oh my God, did you see that? Did you see that? JavaScript code was executed behind the scenes and we got hello world from JavaScript on our web page. Let us go back. Shall we check the body? Shall we check this div ID root? Yup. Did you see that h1 tag was created by JavaScript and it was just injected inside this root? Right? So this is how you create a basic hello world program or a basic HTML using JavaScript. Got it? Now let us just see how we can create a basic Hello World program inside React. Now did you understand why I was teaching all this? Why I was covering all this? I wanted to show you that how you can do the same thing using HTML, using JavaScript, and now we will see how we can do the same thing using React. Got it? So let us just try to create this Hello World from React. Okay, so first things first, okay, this project, how does this project understand what is this document? What is this create element? What is this inner HTML? What is this get element by ID? How do my code or how does a browser understand that what are these things? Can you answer that for me? All the people who have watched Namaste JavaScript would obviously know the answer, but let me tell it for the people who don't know it. Right? This document, this create element, this inner HTML, these are the superpowers which browsers already have in it. Browsers have a JavaScript engine in it that executes these JavaScript. But does the browser know what is React? No. Browser do not understand React code. So what we have to do is, and neither our project is configured to use React right now. So what we have to do to use React is to first of all get React into our project. Okay, the first thing that we will do now is to get React into our project. Let us just see how we can do that. Okay, so first thing first, right? The first way of adding React into our project is via CDN. Okay, CDN, and write CDN React. Okay, if you write CDN React, what is CDN? Okay, take this down as your homework. Will you do some research? Okay, so this is not something related to React, but CDN are content delivery networks. These are the website where this React has been hosted, and we are just pulling React from there into our project. Okay, so there are CDN links. This is the React's official documentation. Go to there they will find these CDN links. So basically CDN is a place where that React library is hosted. Got it? So we are just fetching that React, putting it into our code using CDN links. Got it? Please read more about it. If you don't know it, please take that down as your homework. It is very important to know as a software developer that what is CDN, why do we use CDN? Got it? So it is important to know. So these are the two CDN links, and let me just copy this inside our code, right? So let me just copy this. So just below, just at the end of our body tag, let me first of all remove this JavaScript code, right? Let me just remove this, and just below this body, right? Just above this body, right? And towards the end of this body where the body tag is closing, let us just put these script tags. Let me save it up. I have now you know what happened when we included the script tags? A super powerful thing happened. Now our project has React inside it. Yes, my dear friends, now my project has superpowers of React inside it. Now, whatever code I write in React, our browser or our code, our project will understand, the browsers will understand what is the React. We have injected React to our project. This is first way of injecting React into our project. You can just get a CDN link, pull it down into your project. This is how you do it, right? It's a normal script tag with a src, the source, and this is the link where this React code is hosted. Shall we go to this link and check what is there? What do you think will be there, right? You know, I want to go slow and I want to dive deep into small concepts which other teachers don't teach you. Okay, so let us just go. Let's just see what's there inside this link. Have you ever thought that what could be there? Most people will just copy paste this link, but they don't know what is there inside these JavaScript files, right? It is a normal.js file, right? What is there? Shall we explore, right? Let's be curious, right? Let's be curious. The first thing, you know, in this course, I don't just want to teach you React, but I want to give you extra knowledge that how you can be a great software engineer. Be curious. The first thing is be curious about every small thing. You know, most of the teacher will tell you, okay, let's just copy paste some links from CDN, put it up into your project and your project is configured with React. No. You should question yourself that why are you using CDN? What is CDN? Why are you using CDN links? Is there a different way to do this? Right? You have to be curious about every small damn thing. What is this link? What is there? Right? What is this cross origin? Take this down as your homework. This is the second homework. First homework, what is CDN? Second homework, what is this cross origin? Why am I writing cross origin? Right? So please go dive deep into every small thing that you learn. Got it? For now, let's just move ahead and let us see what is there in this link first of all. If I open this link, oh my God, there is some random big code. What is this code? Yes, it's not a surprise. It's all React code. It's all plain JavaScript code. Do you see? React at the end of the day is what? React at the end of the day is what, right? Let's go to react.org. React is a JavaScript library. React is built using JavaScript. Yes, so this is the code for React. We have got this code into our project now. We have got React into our project now. This is just plain JavaScript code, functions, variables, right? So React at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people panic when they hear about, oh my God, what is React? React is a JavaScript library and whatnot, like big things. Nothing. React at the end of the day is just JavaScript, isn't it? It's some JavaScript piece of code which is doing something for us, right? Making our life easier. It's at the end of the day, React is just JavaScript, my dear friends. JavaScript files. This is React. This react.development.js, this file contains React code. Now, one question is, oh my God, if this is React code, then who is writing this code? Who is writing this code? This code is being written by some Facebook developers. Developers just like you and me, those developers go there in Facebook and then they write this code. Okay? React is a JavaScript library. Somebody has written this React code, right? So Facebook developers have written this. Do you see? Copyright Facebook? Yep. This is a source code of React. Got it? And what we are doing when we are importing these files as CDN links, we are importing this React code into our project. This is how we get React into our project. Okay, what happened when we got React into our project? What happened when we got React into our project? First of all, let me tell you that, you know, as soon as we injected this React code into our project, let's go back, let's refresh the page. There is nothing in the heading now, right? But we have got something amazing behind the scenes. We have got something amazing. Shall I show you something amazing now? Let me show it to you. If you go to the console and, you know, try to write React over here. React. Oh my God, we have got this React. What is this? What is this React? I did not write this. Where is this coming from? This React is coming from the React which we right now injected from the CDN links. This React is coming from the React that we have injected using our CDN link. This file is exporting it somehow. And this React is now available to us for use. Now we can use React into our code, right? And if you see, it gives us a lot of important functions and method that we are going to use. React children, component, fragment, profiler, all these things are given to us by React. This is nothing but some piece of JavaScript code that Facebook engineers wrote and gave it to us, right? We have just directly imported it, injected it into our project. Okay? This is the React. Now, there is one more amazing, and let me show it to you. Let me show you one cool thing. If you just see, right? If you just see, you would find something known as secret internals. Do not use or you will be fired also. Amazing, right? So there are crazy things inside this React. Go explore this out. Go explore this out. I bet you wouldn't have ever seen this. Lots of people who are there working in React does not know this exists. Right? Secret internals, do not use, you will be fired. Okay? So please go ahead and check this out. This is the React that we have injected into our code. Okay? And this is React. Now let's see the second thing. What is this second file now? Is this not React? It is something known as React DOM.development.js. Why there are two files? Nobody questioning that. Let me tell you, you should have answers to everything. Why there are two files, first of all? Why there are two files? Let me tell you the answer to that. First file is the react.development.js. This is the core of React. This is the core file of React. This is the core React framework algorithm, which is written inside it. The core of React. The second one is, if you clearly see, React DOM. This is the React library which is useful for DOM operations. Or this is the React DOM which we need to modify the DOM, document object model. Got it? That's why we have injected these two files. Now you would say, why did React made different files for both of them? Couldn't we have just one file and club everything up? No. Let me tell you why. See, React does not only work on browsers, right? React does not work on browsers. React also works on mobile phones. How? Have you heard of React Native? Is there just React works on browsers? No, right? React also works in your phone as React Native. There's something known as React 3D. There are different type of React, right? Different type of places where React is used. So there are different functions, methods which are being used inside React Native or browsers or different places. That is why there are two files. The main file, this react.development.js, is the core React thing. And the other one is kind of like a bridge between these React and browsers, right? So it's like React DOM, which is like a bridge to connect to the DOM, right? As we go ahead, we will see amazing cool things which this library will give it to us. Got it? So we will be seeing a lot of great things. Okay, so that is why we have included the second file also. Now, when we included second file, so we got something known as React DOM from it. React DOM from it, right? If you see this, here also we have secret internals or you'll be fired, and there are different things which React DOM is given to us. So when we have injected these two script files into our code, we have injected the superpowers that React is giving it to us. We have injected the superpowers that React DOM is giving to us. Okay. And now what we are going to do is, we as developers have to use the superpowers and build these large scale applications. Got it? This was very fundamental, which I wanted to tell you. Now, what we are going to do is, we are going to use these superpowers into our project. Okay, so we are going to do that. A good React developer is the one who knows how to use these superpowers. You know, there are two types of developers. One developers are like Facebook developers who are building this React. And we developers are building web apps using this React. Got it? So let us just now explore the beauty of this React. You know, these two files, don't underestimate them. These are really important files. These files contain a lot of great algorithm that you are going to see now in this whole series. Okay, so these files are like, I bow down to React, these files, this JavaScript code, whatever Facebook engineers have written it to us, and this will enable us to build like super powerful web applications. This is what you will see. I wanted to start right from scratch, right from zero, and I wanted to show you that this is how we build it. Now, coming back to the same problem, let us build the basic Hello World program now using this React into, right? Now we will use React and we will build this basic HTML program, okay? But before that, I want to take a break. I want to take a pause this video right now and go back and do this much in your laptop. Got it? First thing what you will do, you will create an HTML file, basic Hello World. Second thing what you will do, you will just do that same thing using JavaScript, and then you would inject these CDN links into your project, into this React, and then after that, please play this video and watch it further. Okay, let's take a break. Now we have got the superpowers of React into our code by just using these CDN links, right? All that React code that you saw has come into our project now, right? And now we can use these superpowers of these React into our code. Now we will actually write React code. So remember what we were going to do? So we were creating Hello World using HTML, then we created using JavaScript, and now my dear friends, let's use React to create that Hello World. What we are going to do? We will just put h1 tag and that hello world inside this div id root. Let us just see how we can do that. Now we will do it using React. So how do I write React code is, I can just write a script tag over here, right? Let me just write a script tag over here, and now what I am going to do is, I am going to write React code. This is the first React code that I'm going to teach you. Please note it down properly. Okay, so first of all, let me show you that how we can create a h1 tag inside React. Okay, let's see how we can create that h1 tag inside React. Just like in the JavaScript, what did we use? We use something known as document.createElement, isn't it? In React, we use something known as React.createElement. Exactly. You know, we use React.createElement, right? But the API is a little different than JavaScript. Let me show it to you how. So this create element takes three arguments. Create element takes three arguments. The first one is what tag you need to create. So suppose if I want to create h1 tag, I will write h1 over here. The next one is an object, right? So let me give it an empty object for now. Okay, I'm just giving it an empty object. We will see later what is the use of this. And the third one is what we have to put inside that h1 tag. Just like we did inner HTML last time in JavaScript, right? Over here in React, we do something known as this third argument, right? This third argument will take whatever we need to put inside h1. Okay, this is what we do inside this React, right? Let's write hello world from React inside it. Got it? So now we have created h1 tag with hello world from React inside it. This is how we do inside React. Got it? Now we have created this heading. Now we need to put this heading inside where? We need to put in inside this div id root, right? As a children. How do I do that? See, things work a little different in React than normal JavaScript. Okay, how do I put this is, first of all, we need to tell React that what is the root where you need to render stuff up. So I need to render my heading inside the root, this div id, right? So first of all, I need to create a root inside React. Got it? First of all, React wants to have a root where it can do all the DOM stuff. Got it? First of all, React needs to have a root where it will do all the DOM manipulation. Got it? So how do we create a root is very easy. I'll create a root inside React. Very, very easy. You know, the best thing I like about React is its simple and sweet APIs, the simple and sweet method which it offers. You don't have to learn anything, it's very intuitive. Just like React.createElement, I exactly know that create element will create a h1 element for me, right? H1 tag for me, right? It's very easy. Similarly, we have something known as create root, right? Now, let me tell you one thing, my friends. See, creating an element is a core thing of React, right? Creating an element is a core thing of React. So it comes from this React, this first library. But now, creating a root, when we are creating a root and rendering something inside it, it is the job of React DOM. Got it? So you have to be mindful about it that here we will use React DOM dot create root. Okay, React DOM dot create root, and this is how we will create a root inside React. First of all, let me just revise it once again. So React.createElement, what it is doing, it is just creating an h1 element inside React. That is a core React thing. Okay, this h1 is created inside React. So we will use React. But now when we have to put this h1 into our DOM, right, onto our browser, so that we will use React DOM libraries create root method. This will create a root first of all. What tag do I have to create root on? This ID root, right? So what we'll do, I'll just pass in document.getElement by ID root. Okay, so what will happen? Document.getElement by ID, and I will write root inside it. So what we have done is we have created a root for our React library. Got it? Now, whatever we will do, we can just render this heading inside the root. Easy, right? So let me show it to you how we have to do this. Very easy. So we just have to write root.render. Intuitive, isn't it? So we'll just have to write root.render, and what we have to render inside root? We just have to render our heading inside root. Isn't it? So what we did, let me just recap it first again. We just created an h1 tag with hello world from React inside it. We use React.createElement for it, right? And then what we did, I created a root inside React, right? This root is the place where all the React code will run. Got it? Everything that we will render inside this root. Got it? So this is our root, and what is the root? Document.getElement by ID root. That means this div. Got it? And then we will just do root.render heading inside it. Let me just save this file, go back to our browser, refresh the page. See, there we have hello world from React over here. We have hello world from React over here. This is the first React program that we created right now. Isn't it amazing? Was it tough? Sometimes what we do is we just make things tough in our head. It is very easy. And I want to teach you React right from zero. Lot of teachers teach you React by how? They will do npx create React app, and then they create React app, and then there is a whole big corpus of project files, random files come into our project. No, I don't want to teach you like that. I want to teach you with basics of React, the core ground right from zero, and make you a hero in React. Okay, right from zero, right from scratch, we have created this index.html file. I have showed you that how do we put React inside our project. And now, how do you slowly build things in it, right? So we have created our first hello world program inside React. This is how you do it. So we have created a heading using React.createElement, h1 tag, and then we have just rendered that heading inside our root, right? What is our root? Root is the div id root over here, document.getElement by id root. Okay, so this is how we have injected the h1 tag inside a root. Let's go to element and see. Did you see that? We have got this h1 tag inside our root. What is doing that? Actually, React is doing this now. This React.createElement, React DOM.create root, React root.render, this is actually putting that heading inside our root. You have to remember that thing. Isn't it amazing? Yes, this is what React is. At the end of the day, React uses JavaScript, right? This is all it is. Okay, we will see now slowly the advanced stuff inside React, but I wanted to show you that don't panic. React is very, very easy. If you learn it in a proper structured way, React is very easy to pick up. Got it? So this was the first Hello World program inside React, my dear friends. And please take a pause at this moment and try to do this yourself. Try to remember just 3 things: React.createElement, createRoot, and render. Try to write this code yourself. Got it? And you would love it. Please try to write this code. Please try to run it in your browser, and let's get back. Just pause for a moment and then we will get back to the video ahead, right? In this episode. Now what we did was we wrote all our React code inside the script tags, isn't it? So what we are going to do now is, let us just try to create a new JavaScript files and write all that code, right? It's not a good practice. I don't want to write all my React lengthy code inside these script tags, isn't it? It's not a good way. Let's create a new JavaScript file to put in all that React code, isn't it? So let's just create a new file and let's call it app.js. Okay, let's call it app.js. And over here, I will write all my React code. Got it? So let me just copy paste all this React code and let me just put it inside my app.js file. Got it? And now what I am going to do is I am just going to inject it right to our app. How do I do that? Script src, and now in this src I will write ./app.js, isn't it? So I have got my script and let me just refresh my page and it works completely fine, right? So I have just split this React code into my app.js file. You know, my dear friends, when React was built, or a lot of these frameworks, libraries that are modern React libraries, frameworks out there in the market, they work with some fundamentals in their head. You know, it is considered, when React was built, it was built with a philosophy that we want to manipulate our DOM using JavaScript. And React gives us super powerful ways to manipulate or to, what is the most costly, expensive operation inside browser or a web page? What it is? The most costly operation in the web page is when you do something, when your web page is interactive, right? So the most important operation or the most important hit that the browser takes is when the DOM nodes needs to be manipulated. Suppose if there is a web page, you click the button and something shows up into a page or something hides into a page. What is happening is the DOM tree is getting changed, isn't it? That is the most costly thing, that putting some nodes inside the DOM and removing some nodes from the DOM. This is a costly operation, right? And all these frameworks and libraries are trying to optimize this. React also comes with a philosophy that whenever you need to do anything on a web page, do it using JavaScript, right? And that is why React gives you these helper functions to make these things work in a very performant way, right? So in this whole course, this was all HTML that we touched. Everything that we do, we will do inside JavaScript from now on. So this is all HTML is required. This is what the HTML was. Now what we will do, whatever we will do, even if we are writing some piece of HTML or something, if we are creating some element, we will do everything inside React. Okay, so React comes with a philosophy of writing or manipulating the DOM using JavaScript or using React. Got it? At the end of the day, which is JavaScript, right? So we will be modifying all that using JavaScript, and we won't be creating a lot of HTMLs in the HTML file. We won't be touching a lot of HTML file now. Okay, so what will happen is this is our React code. Let me tell you few more things, few more interesting things, right? This missing object, what is this? What is this object? Let me tell it to you, right? So this object basically is the place where you will give attributes to your tags. Okay, this object is the place where you will give attributes to your tags. What is the attribute to a tag? Suppose if my h1 tag needs to have a ID heading, right? So this is how I will give it, right? Sometimes when you create a HTML, you have to give some ID, some classes or something like that, right? So this is how this object is used to give these attributes to a class, right? So if I save these files, if I refresh my page, go back to my elements, do you see we got this ID heading? You see, right? We got this ID heading. This is how we give attributes to our tag. Okay, so we can basically give more attributes. I can even give some attributes like XYZ is ABC. I can give it like this also, right? If we refresh the page, if I refresh the page, it will come like this as an attribute. XYZ ABC, right? So we can give these attributes in this object. Got it? We will see the use of it even more later on, but right now I wanted to show this to you. Got it? This is coming as an attribute to our h1 tag. Now, suppose if I had to add some CSS, okay? Let's make this as red or something, okay? Let's try to do that. How do I do that? In our index.html, I should have a CSS file, right? Let us create a index.css, right? What's there? Let's create an index.css and let us just import this index.css in our HTML, right? I will put a link rel style sheet href./index.css. I can do that, right? I can just put that, right? Let me just close it like this. So we have this index.css file. Now in this index.css file, let us give some CSS to our heading, right? So let us give it a color of red. Okay, let's make it red and maybe go back and let me just refresh the page and you see it red, right? So we saw that how we can give first of all IDs or some attributes to these tags using React, right? How do we give it? Using this object over here. And what we have also seen is how do we get CSS into our page, right? We have got our normal CSS over here as well. Awesome, right? So I am starting right from zero. We will see a lot of cool things. We will also see how do we get Tailwind into our app, right? Tailwind is very popular. We will see everything, but I want to go slow. I want to go from scratch. I want to go deep inside things, right? That is why I am teaching you all these bare bone minimal things. Let me also tell you one more thing, okay? Let me ask you one more thing actually, right? Let me ask you one more thing. We have written this react.create element. Okay. No one questions that what is react.create element? What is it giving to us? What is this heading? What is this heading at the end of the day? Can you guess? Okay, I'll ask you a question. Okay. If I do a console log of heading, what do you think will be printed on the console? What do you think will be printed on the console? Come on, give it a guess. A lot of people might be thinking that it will give me some HTML element, right? But let me tell you, my dear friends, if I go to the console, if I refresh the page, you will see an object over here. This is an object. This h1 is not an h1 tag. This is an object. This is a React element at the end of the day. We are creating a React element at the end of the day. And when this heading is basically a React element, a React h1 element. And what is a React element? React element is nothing but a normal JavaScript object. See this, right? This is an H1 type object. And listen to me one more thing. It has something known as props. It has something known as props. Props are children plus attributes that we pass in. Props are what? Props are these. These are the props. This is the children, right? This is the children which will go inside my H1 tag. Okay, whatever the third thing is over here that you pass is the children. The second thing is the attributes, and they all come inside these props, right? You will see a lot of these things later on as we go ahead and React, but I'm just giving you a basic idea of all of these. We will hear a lot of props, a lot of keys, lots of things. Don't worry if you're not able to understand. Just know that, okay, for now, just understand that there is something, these attributes, whatever you pass in over there, go as an attribute inside these tags. That's all you need to know. You will understand a lot more deeper later on. But you should be curious, right? If somebody asks you, what is React.createElement? You should know. At the end of the day, it is just an object. Now, when we do root.render, right? And here, what we are passing in over here? We are passing in a React element, a JavaScript object to this render file. This root.render function's job is basically to take this object, create that H1 tag which the browser understands and put that up inside the root, inside that root element that you put in over here. Now you understand how it works behind the scenes? What is happening is when you did React.createElement, it basically creates an object, a JavaScript object for you. This is a React element. It is not actual H1 tag. A lot of people think that this heading is an H1 tag. No, it is not that H1 tag yet. It is not that H1 tag yet. Okay, so this is just an object. This will return an object to you. This is what I wanted to show you, that small things. Nobody will teach you this. Okay, this object is there over here. And now what we are going to do? We are just going to do root.render. This render method will basically be responsible to take this object and put it up, convert it into that heading tag and put it up on the DOM. Okay, this render method is basically converting this object to an H1 tag and putting it up over here. Got it? This is how this code works behind the scenes. Okay, so if you did not understand few things, that's okay. Completely okay. We are just starting. This is just the episode 1, the inception. I wanted to tell you few basic things, right? That is why I am just telling you all these things. This will just build your foundation strong and stronger. Okay, so keep reading things up, keep practicing along with me, take a pause and read more about this. Okay, read more about this and also practice this in your laptop right now. Okay, just write this piece of code. First of all, split your app into app.js, create a CSS file, give it a ID heading, try to write some CSS, and then try to do the same things that I did right now. Got it? And then we will meet you after a short break. Okay? We just now saw that how we can create a H1 element inside React, right? So, but the HTML structure is not just 1 or 2 tags, right? It is kind of like a complex structure also, right? So most of the times our HTML structure is not just one level deep, but it is nested, isn't it? It's nested, right? So how it is nested? Suppose if you have to create a structure something like this, right? We have a div and then inside our div, we have another div, okay? Another div, and then inside this div, I have my heading, right? Suppose inside this div, I have a H1 tag, right? Suppose if I have a H1 tag inside this, right? And I have a closing H1 tag also inside this. How do you create this type of structure inside React? How do you create this type of structure inside React? Let us just see. If we have to create nested elements, this is just one element, right? How do I create nested element, this type of structure? Okay, and also let me give them some IDs. Let's call this as parent, right? And let's call this as ID child, okay? And let's call this as H1 only. It's okay, right? So how do I create this type of structure? Let me tell you how to create this type of structure. First of all, how I will create? I will create a parent. How do I create a parent? Let's just do it. You have understood it now, right? It's easy. React dot create element, right? And what will I write inside this create element? I will write a div. This is how I will create it. And I'll have to give it some ID, right? ID parent. So how will I give it ID parent? I will give it ID parent like this. And now what is the third argument? What is the third argument? What we have to put inside this div? Yes, the children of that div. What is the children of that div? What actually is a children of that div? This children of this ID parent div is another div which is a child. Right? ID child, div ID child. So what I can do is basically I can directly copy this also. Do you see that? Just see this. What did I do it? So this is react.create element. I created a div which has ID parent. Now as a children, I have passed this div ID parent to it. Div ID child to it. Okay. And now this div ID child, third argument is again its children. What is the children of this div ID child? What is the children of this div ID child? It is this h1 tag. And let's give inside this h1 tag, I am h1 tag or something like that. I am h1 tag. Got it? So let's give this. So let's create another h1 tag. How do you create another h1 tag? So create element. It's a little painful, I know, but let me just create it once again. H1 tag and no ID. Okay, so let me give it an empty object over here, and let me give it I am an H1 tag. Got it? And let me just close this up, right? And let me close this up. And now, do you see this? So this is a create element div. This is the first div which has ID parent to it. Now I have a child over here, the child div. And inside this child div, I have children as my h1 tag, which has I am h1 tag written inside it. And now this is the parent. Let's try to render it. Let me just remove this heading for now. Let's try to render this parent now instead of this heading. Okay, instead of this heading, let us just try to render this parent now. And let me log also this parent to the console to see what is there inside this parent. Let me go back. Let me refresh the page. I am an h1 tag. Right? If you go to this body, inside this root, we have parent, we have this child, we have this h1 tag. This is what we wanted inside our DOM. Right? So this is how you create nested HTML structure inside your React application. Okay, it is by using this create element and the third attribute to it, the third argument to it. The third argument is the children that you have to pass in. Got it? So this is how you do it right now using this, right? And if I console log to see parent, so if you see again, right, what is this parent? This parent is not an HTML. This parent is not in those tags. No, it is just an object, right? And this object is a React element. This object is a React element, and all that is taken care of by React behind the scenes. This object is then actually converted into, how does that work, right? This object, right? This React element is what? Write it down in your notebook, okay? This is React element. React at the element at the end of the day is what? An object, isn't it? And this React object becomes HTML that the browser understands. Browser understands. Okay, so never think that when you are doing react.createElement, it is creating some HTML. No, it is creating an object while it is rendering onto the DOM, right? While it is rendering onto the DOM, it converts itself into that HTML and puts it up into the DOM. Got it? This is how React works behind the scenes, my dear friends. And this is how it is. If you'll see the props, if you'll see the children, see, this children is again an object. This children is this child div, right? This child div, which is again an object, see. And inside that child div, its children, right? Its children is the h1 tag, right? With again the children as I am an h1 tag. Got it? So this is what I wanted to show you. If you have to make a nested kind of structure, this is how you can make a nested kind of structure. Now let me tell you one more thing. What if, suppose you have to create siblings inside this? Suppose over here we have h1 tag, right? Suppose I wanted an h1, another one h2 tag, okay? Let's give it h2 tag inside the same, right? How will I create this type of structure? Now these two are siblings, right? Now these two are children of this child div. So this is the child div. This is one children. How do I add one more children to it? How do I add one more children to it? How do I add one more children to it? Let me tell you, my dear friends, if you have to give it siblings, right? If you have to make one more sibling over here, what you can do it, the third argument to react.createElement, the third argument, the first argument is what type of tag it is. The second argument is the object. The third argument is the children, right? So you can either pass one children to it, right? You can either pass this one children to it, or if you have to give more than one children, you can convert this to an array. You have to convert this to an array. Okay, so this can be either a single child or an array of different children. So basically, if I have to give two h1 tags over here, or a h1 and an h2 tag, what I will do is I will pass this down as an h2 tag. I am an h2 tag. Okay, and I will wrap this inside these angular brackets and square brackets, sorry, and these square brackets, and this is an array of children. Okay, so if I give it an array of children, right? So this is my child and I have given this as array of children. So if I give it array of children, they come at the same level. So the HTML structure will be like this. Got it? So if I refresh my page, I go back to my elements, if I go back to my root, if I go back to my parent, if I go back to my child, I get these two elements. Got it? Now one more thing you will see is when you do that, React will throw an error. React will throw an error that we need something known as key. Don't worry about it right now. We will solve all these errors later on in the next episodes. But for now, just understand, if you have to give two elements as the siblings, what you have to do is you have to basically create an array of childrens, not just one children. Got it? So this is how you create nested structures inside your React. Got it? So now let me tell you, suppose if you have to create something like this, even more complicated nested structure, right? This is child and this is child 2. How do you create that? Now you would say, Akshay, don't create a mess. I can create it, but the code will look mess, isn't it? Let's first of all create it, okay? How will we create it? So basically this is a div which has ID parent over here, and this is the children of it, right? This is the children of it, isn't it? We wanted two children, so I will just convert this. I will just cut paste, right? Now I will pass an array of children to it, right? What were the children? The same thing. Another children, the same thing. Let me save it up. So the structure looks like this. Let me go back and let me name this as child 2. Okay, let me go back to my HTML page, refresh the page, and let me go back to elements, root, parent, child 1, child 2. Do you see that? But, oh my God, if I had to create this still looks easy, but this looks so ugly, isn't it, my dear friends? Now you can say that, okay, Akshay, React is not making my life easy. It is making my life hard. It is so hard to read this stuff, isn't it? It is almost like, if we have even more complex nested structure, think about the code it will become later on, isn't it? It's very complicated, it's very tedious, right? It's very untidy, isn't it? It's very untidy, right? So let me tell you, my dear friends, that this is why there is something known as JSX that exists. Okay, there is something known as JSX that exists. We are not going to see right now. We are going to study JSX in the next episode. For now, right? For now, we will just stick to this. What I am teaching you is that a lot of people think that React can only be written inside JSX. Okay, React is only written using JSX. I wanted to show you that React in itself, the core of React is this. JSX will make our life easy when we have to create tags. Got it? We will learn JSX in upcoming episodes, but I wanted to show you that this is the last time we are using this React.createElement. Bye-bye React.createElement. We will no longer be using React.createElement. But I wanted to show you to the core of React. To the core of React, this is how we create an H1 element inside React. This is what React has to offer it to us. But right now, when we do modern React development, and let me tell you, I will be teaching you all the best, latest React 18 stuff. All this is React 18. Okay. So I want to teach you the latest and I want to teach you the best, but I also want to tell you that what are the core fundamentals of it. The core React is this, but we are going to use JSX that will make our life easy. We will not have to do a lot of this stuff. But for now, it is very important to understand that this is how we do it. Now, take a break and try to create this type of structure into your code, right? And try to take that pain and see that how an H1 tag is created, how this div is created, how does a children prop works. Got it? So please try to do the same and see, try to create this type of structure. Okay, so we will come back again after a short break. Please pause the video over here and do the same thing in your own app. Now we are towards the end of this episode, but I want to talk about few more important things that will blow up your mind when you will know that. Okay, so a lot of people don't understand that, okay, we have written these files like this, right? Does the order of these files matter or not? Lot of people are confused with it. Lot of people will not be able to answer this question. Will the order of file matter? Suppose if I have written this app.js over here, suppose I wrote this app.js over here, right? On the top, will this work now? Will this work? Yes or no? Let me know. Let me know, will this work or not? Let's go back to our browser and check it up, right? Let's see the console, refresh the page. See, it will throw an error to you. It will throw an error on your face. You know, when we are learning something, let us just try to learn it slow and let us just try to play with our code and check. So if you change the order of these files, it will call that React is not defined. That means your file, this React should be before your app.js file. You know, the order of these files are always in sequence. Okay, this order of these files are always in sequence when they are imported, right? So always you have to keep your React before your app.js, because the code inside this app.js is using React, isn't it? There is something known as cross origin. What is this cross origin? Should I write cross origin over here? You should ask all these questions. Be curious, my dear friends. I just do not want to teach you React. I also want to tell you that become a very good software engineer. You should know all these small things. You know, if you just want to learn React, average. If you will increase your curiosity about every small thing that you write, every word. What is this script? What is this cross origin? Why we are writing cross origin? Can I move this file up? Or can I just do a mandatory have to write it down? Why I have written this inside our body? Can we put this thing inside our head? Not our head, my dear friends, our app's head tag. Okay. So can we do that? So you have to ask all these questions to yourself. That is when you will become a senior grade developer. Okay, I want all the students of this Namaste React batch to have awesome curiosity, ask small questions, Google out stuff, right? Sometimes I won't be able to tell you all these things inside over here in these lectures, right? But I want your curiosity to never die. A person who is not curious, a person who does not have a lot of open questions is not a great developer. You should always have things boggling your head. Can I move this script tag up? Can I move that script tag down? Can I write cross origin? Why do I write cross origin? What happens when you log something, right? What is React element at the end of the day, right? What is a React element? All these things should bug you. Try to find answers to all these questions. Take that down as your homework. Why we are writing cross origin? I'll show it to you one more thing, right? So we have this cross origin CDN links. So there are other CDN links also. This is react.development.js. This is react.production.js. What is the difference between these development and production.js links? Can I use my production.js over here or not? Have such questions in your head. Important stuff. Okay, so this is kind of the end portion of the episode, but I want to talk about few more important things, right, that a lot of people don't understand. So we do something known as root.render, right? We did something known as root.render. What is this root.render doing? It is just putting this parent inside this root tag, isn't it? Inside this root tag. It is putting that parent inside this root tag. Suppose if something already existed here, right? If suppose something already Akshay is here, okay? If suppose there was a heading already over here and I am trying to do root.render and I am rendering my parent over here, this parent. But I already have Akshay is here. What will happen, my dear friends? Where will this Akshay's hair go? Or that parent will come below this Akshay's hair? What is the answer to this question? Tell me. Tell me, my dear friends. Shall I tell you the answer? The answer is that this Akshay's hair will be replaced by that parent. This Akshay's hair will be replaced by that parent. Do you see that? Let me show it to you. Let me go back to our app, refresh the page and see. It just quickly happened, but Akshay's hair was replaced by this parent, right? Let me show it to you. Let me refresh the page very fast. Do you see Akshay's hair there? Let me just do it very fast. Do you see that for some milliseconds that Akshay's hair is being loaded, and then afterwards it is appended. Right? Not appended, it is replaced. That root.render is replacing things inside this root. Got it? So whatever I have inside root, right? Whatever, how many tags I have. Suppose if I have so many tags over here, right? What will happen is, if I refresh my page, see, everything, whatever is there inside this root is getting replaced by whatever I am passing inside my render method. Right? Important thing to know, right? Try to have this curiosity. Try to experiment this stuff. Okay? So try to play with the code. When you will do this, exactly, try to do it in your system and see it. Just refresh your page very fast. How is it working? How is it working, right? How is it working? Let me show it to you. So what happens is, first of all, when the browser reads our HTML, right? So it will print Akshay is here on the browser. It will print the Akshay is here on the browser. But as soon as it goes to the script, it will load React. It will then load React into our app. Then it will load React DOM into our app when it reaches this 19, line number 19, right? It will load React DOM into our app. Then it will go to line number 23, right? It will load this app.js into our app, this app.js. And it will start executing this code line by line. And it will, when it will reach this line root.render, when it will reach this right root.render, it will just render that parent inside my root. What is my root over here? What is this root? This root is the same root element over here, this div id root. And when you do a root.render, it will just replace everything inside root with whatever I am passing in from React. So kind of React takes control over this div now. React has taken control over this div now. Whatever you will render will be rendered inside this root and will be replaced, not appended. Mind that word. Replaced, that not appended. Note it down in your notebook. Got it? Try to do this yourself. Try to play with the code. There is something amazing which React is doing. And do you see that everything, all this thing, reading the code, rendering it, is done very fast in this few milliseconds? See how much millisecond it takes? It is done very fast, my dear friends. It is done very fast. Got it? So this is how things are replaced inside our root. Now, React is working inside this root. What if? Let me ask you one more curious question. You know, I am very curious. A lot of people ask me, Akshay, how do you learn stuff? How do you know a lot of things? I am just curious. I am just a developer like you and me. I am just a little more curious. I question myself a lot. This is what the difference is. I try to question every small thing. Suppose, okay, if this is the root, what if I had some more things on top of? Suppose if I have a h1 tag on top of my root div itself, right? I can have it, right? This is like my hello top of root, right? And okay, what if I have a h1 tag below my root? Will these getting replaced? Will they get replaced? What is the answer to it? What is the answer to it? Let us go back, refresh the page. See, hello top of root and hello below root stays the same. That means React is only working inside my div id root. Amazing thing, right? So the React is only working inside my div id root. Because you know what happens? I have defined my root as this div id root. And everything that I render will render inside this root. Everything that I render, my dear friends, will render inside this root element. Okay, so this is important thing to note. And the other portions of HTML works the same. Works the same. This is why we call React as a library also. You know, there are two words, a library and a framework. What is the difference between them? We call React as a library because, you know, React can be applied to a small portion of our page itself. Small portion of our page only. React can only work in header only. React can only work in footer also. React can only work in sidebar also. React only works in the place whatever you make the root as. Here we have made the root as the div id root, right? If we make, suppose if we had header, right? Suppose let's create a header, okay? So we have a header, right? Header. Got it? Right? There can be header and a root also, right? So if I created this root as my header, okay? So now the React is only working inside this header div, right? This header div. And everything inside this header div will be replaced by whatever I will pass in from this root.render. Got it? So this is why React is a library. It can work independently in a small portion of your app as well. It is not a full-fledged framework. So a framework is a framework which comes with all loads of things. React is a bare bone minimal JavaScript library. It is just some piece of JavaScript code which is written by Facebook developers, isn't it? Where is that file, right? This file, let us just see. This is React, my dear friends. This is what React is. This is what React is. This is all React is. No need to panic. At the end of the day, React is just JavaScript. Isn't it? A lot of people feel, oh my God, we have to learn React, a different library, framework and whatnot. Very easy. Just some piece of JavaScript code. It is just giving us some helper methods that we need to use to develop fast applications. Okay? And we can do that in a small portion of our app as well. This is not the case with other frameworks. Not all frameworks are like this. All frameworks will require you to create an app using that framework, whole app. But React can work in your existing apps as well. Now you will understand the advantages, right? Not all frameworks, the other frameworks apart from React in the market, can be applied to an existing app. But React, you can just inject React. How? By CDN links or something. And you can start using React in a small portion of your app. You can just create a root in your header, in your footer, in your sidebar, in wherever you want to use React in a small card also. You can do that. React will work in that small piece of page, right? In that small page, section of the page, it can work. This is the beauty of this amazing library. It's not a full-fledged framework or something. Okay? So whatever we will see, the use cases, the amazing things which React gives us. This is the beauty we should appreciate about React. Got it? So this is what I wanted to tell you, that first of all, the order of files matter a lot. And after the order of files, we should also know that, okay, not just order of files, it also matters that what is the root where we are rendering stuff. Okay? And that can be a small portion of the page as well. Right? This can be a big HTML page, but it will work inside a small div only. Right? We can define that too. This is how beautiful React is. This was all in this episode. Let me just quickly recap everything. We studied a lot of things in the episode 1 itself. This is just the starting. We will be diving even deep. As the episodes will go, you will see the beauty of React inside it. But let me just quickly revise whatever we studied today in this session. First of all, we studied how we can write a small hello world program using just HTML. Then we saw that how we can write the same program, that hello world program, using JavaScript. We can inject that h1 tag inside our root using JavaScript. Then we saw the third thing, that how we can bring React into our code. We want to create a hello world program. How we can bring that inside our code. How did we do that? Yes, you are right. It's the CDN links that we put in, right? These are the CDN links that we got in, right? And then what we did, we wrote some piece of script, right? We have extracted it to our app.js file, right? We extracted our script to our app.js file. So let me go to app.js. We started writing code, right? We created an element. We saw what is a React element. What is a React element at the end of the day? An object, yes? People who will say HTML, I will thrash you up. Okay, so it is React element is an object at the end of the day. This object is then using React DOM, right? This React DOM.create element root, right? Now this is responsible. This create root is responsible to create the root, right? Assign a root inside React, right? And then when we do root.render, this render method is super powerful. It is helping us put that object onto our page. How does that object go to our page? It's like a React element. This React element is an object which will then convert it into HTML, and then our browser understands what is that HTML and prints it onto the page. Got it? That's how it works. The third thing what I told you is that create element API takes in 3 arguments. What is the first one? The name of the tag, h1 div, span, p, whatever you wish to give it. The second one is the attributes. Now listen to me carefully. These are objects, right? These are objects which the attributes which you pass to the tag, right? Suppose if you have to pass in ID or any attribute, you have to give it like this. The third is the children's. What children can we pass in? There are 2 things. First children could be a normal React element, right? First children can be a normal React element. The second is if you have to give in multiple children. Suppose if your element has multiple children. Suppose if this div child 2 has multiple children, this h1 and h2. What you have to do this? You have to pass this as a list, as an array. Okay? And if there is one child, then you can just pass it without that array. Got it? So this is how you have to do it, right? This is what I taught you. After that, I also showed you that inside our HTML, right? When we do a root.render, whatever we are passing from root.render, it is getting replaced. It is replacing what is there existing inside root, right? Root already had something inside it. What it is going to do? It will replace it up, right? It will replace it up. And we also saw that, okay, that if suppose there is something on the top or the bottom, if there is something on the top of the bottom of the page, you can still use React just in the small portion of your page, just in this ID root. When you do a root.render, okay, so let me write it root, right? So if you do a root.render, what it will do, it will just affect the root over here, this root div. Rest of the HTML will remain the same in your web page, right? React is just a library. Then we saw why it is a library. It is a small JavaScript library. You can import it like a JavaScript file into your code, and it gives you superpowers. You can use React in your existing web application projects, no matter it is using jQuery, it is using something else. If you have a jQuery application, you can import React and start using it. Got it? This is how powerful React is. React is a library and not a full-fledged framework. A framework comes with a lot of baggage along with it. React does not come up with a lot of baggage. But can we make, if it is a library, if it is small, can we make large-scale application from it? Yes. We are going to see that in the upcoming episodes, right? We are going to see amazing things, that how we are going to build it up, how we are going to ignite our app. The next episode is igniting our app. Okay, we are going to learn amazing cool things inside our app in that episode. Please stay tuned, keep watching. This was all about the first episode, Inception, and see you in the next episode with a lot of amazing things which are coming up. Till then, bye bye.